This man was was ranked #1 trainee of his SEAL class, 9 years active duty. He retired as a commander in 2011, and he founded NavySeals.com. It's the leading website for gear and information about joining the Navy SEALs. He also launched U.S. Tactical, which led to SEAL Fit. Now, when I cycle over the weekend, I ride past SEAL Fit all the time, being very careful not to stop anywhere near SEAL Fit as I go by. But as you see these guys go by, and there's not a lot of yelling going on, Russ.
Right.
But there's a lot of carrying of crap on your shoulders.
That's
and
what
running
I said.
down the street.
Yeah,
and there's
18-wheeler tires,
lots
2.5
lots of
miles.
guys like bent over.
Sign me up,
like
Bob.
that a little bit. Mark Devine joins us here. Mark, good to have you.
Wow.
Yeah, good to be here, guys. Yeah.
So you know, one of the things that we didn't talk about last time that you were here is when you started this whole thing. Did you know when you were getting out, when you retired from active duty, that this is what you wanted to do, or did you have no idea what you were doing next?
When I left active duty, I had pretty much no idea. I actually started a brewing company, Coronado Brewing Company.
There you go.
Did you start Coronado Brewing Company?
Yeah, I
That's
thought
your deal?
free beer for life was a good idea.
I think you probably got a deal anyway getting out.
Because I think there's a lot of guys. I think there's a lot of guys and gals listening that are in the same position. You know, because let's face it, you could be 42 years old and retiring out of the military,
and still have no idea what.
And still know what you're doing.
Yeah, the transition is horrific. You know, horrific for military guys. There's very little. A lot of nonprofits are stepping in to really help them.
Yeah.
out. But when I got out, I just didn't know what to do. So I said, I'll start a brewery.
Well,
Why not?
it's hard to take for some people in the military. It's probably hard to take what you've trained and you're good at into a civilian. You know, how many submarine driving positions are out there?
Exactly. Good point. And we're great generalists. You know, we're good at a lot of different things. Good at leading, but you know, very following. Absolutely,
team effort,
the teamwork. So we make great. Employees. Military guys are phenomenal employees. They're great. They're very loyal. They know how to do the team thing.
Yeah.
But to tell them to go start a business or what specifically that your skills are going to translate to, that gets tough.
Was there and I think that's there's that sort of navigating through that transition that they didn't have now. And I know there's some not-for-profits now, but let's face it. You were an officer. You're a commander.
Right.
Not-for-profit's not going to need to help a guy like you. What's going to need to help a guy like you is to get you focused on what your strengths are. Right.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And that's essentially. When I figured that out, I said, hey, I got to go back to my roots. Like, what was it about me when I decided to become a SEAL, when I got so focused and radically clear about who I was and what I was going to do and why I want to do it. And then the SEALs carried that, right? There wasn't a day that I can get up and put my shoes on where I didn't know my mission and wasn't super clear about my purpose.
Yeah.
And when I left active duty, I kind of lost that. And then I thought, you know what? That's what I need back.
Yeah.
And so I got really clear about, aligning my life so that I was doing what I was passionate about and what I was uniquely gifted to do. And that was to train other people to be Navy SEALs. So that led to the business. As soon as I lined those things up, man, everything just clicked into place.
But it was probably easier to have someone do that initially for you, some other commander, whatever, laying out your day.
Well, yeah, because
that's true. In the military, you're pretty much told what to do, what to wear, how to speak.
So you have to do it to yourself now.
Well, I was going to say, that might be part of the problem when you get out of the military, is that you're so used to being sort of told what to do. By the time you're not told what to do, you got to tell yourself what to do.
You have no idea how to do that. Right?
So let's talk about first of all, we're going to get to the 8 weeks to Navy, the SEAL Fit thing in just a little bit, Russ. So don't try to hide the book.
No, please wait.
But last time you were here,
as you'd like.
Last time we were here, we talked about Unbeatable Mind. The Unbeatable Mind. Talk about that book first, because
so that is really my philosophy of training. The idea is that how do you train yourself to master yourself like a warrior, so you can serve greatly, like you can really kick ass and take names, and just get rid of all the clutter in your life and be radically focused on the right thing for you at the right time.
Right.
And so that's the book that really kind of I lay out the principles for how to do that.
Well, let's talk about that for business, though, too. Let's face it. There's a lot of CEOs that are navigating. I'm not talking about big CEOs of big companies. I'm talking about mid-sized companies that are meandering, that can't figure out how to get out of their own way. There's a lot of principles in that they can cross
That is
over.
true. There are. I think that business really is about the people, of course. And, if the people are squared away, then the business can be squared away. This whole movement for conscious capitalism is a great example, right? If the individuals leading an organization are working daily to elevate their own sense of consciousness, their own mastery, their own world-centric view, then they're going to make decisions for the organization that are not constrained and just limited to short-term thinking. They're going to be good for all constituents, all stakeholders.
You hope.
You hope, you're right. But the point...
Self-examination just jumped out on this one
it's called
page.
accountability.
Yeah. That's hard for a lot of people to do.
It is. And there's certain, what I learned through the SEALs, there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of introspection in the teams, believe it or not. You know, everyone thinks that we're all these just aggressive, hardcore, go get them guys, and we are. We're very offensive, and we're, you know, not offensive to other people, you know, unless we're in a bar.
Russ is offensive. That's
Body odor and things like that.
Yeah. So, but we're also very, very contemplative and introspective, right? And so we think about these things, like what is our purpose? What is our passion? Why are we doing this? Every day we got to be, you know, if we're going to jump out of an airplane at 30,000 feet, we got to know why we're doing it. You know what I mean?
I'd have to
there
have
shouldn't be any question mark in your head, right?
And who folded the chute? 2 questions I'd want answers to.
Pretty much those are the ones I wanted the answer to also, right? And so that was my point for business leaders and for anyone for that matter, is when you get out of bed in the morning, know why you're doing what you do.
Yeah.
Be able to connect every action back to that.
Wow.
Right?
I'm so far away from this.
That's why it sounds simple, but it's not easy, just like a lot of things
I can't even
in
find my
life.
shoes in the morning, let alone slip them on. What am I doing?
You know, can I just say here, from where I'm sitting right here, just watching this purview right here, over here, right here, we have junk food. Let's talk about like a Mickey
Hello,
D's
everybody.
grease brawl burger.
There we are.
And over here we have, could you imagine? We have health food here.
Seal fit guy.
This is bacon. This is apple. This is what I'm looking at. This is like I'm just watching.
All right. Now together we're going to make some
800 credit score. 3.
Yeah, that's what.
So this is the other book I want to talk about real quick. By the way, Mark Devine.
I got a lot of reading. First of all, that alone is going to hurt.
Start there.
The Way of the Seal, national bestseller.
Hey, wait! While you're here, what book is best to start?
I think I would say Unbeatable Mind probably.
Unbeatable Mind's the foundation.
Put your head in the game first.
The Way of the Seal is for leaders, right? It's you know, like leaders are using this book.
That one.
Leaders are using this book for their teams.
Well, that's
to help for team development.
That's a business book.
It's a business book. Right.
Let's talk about The Way of the Seal.
Published by Reader's Digest. They asked me to basically, convey the training and what I've learned in business from my perspective as a SEAL, a leader, and a warrior, teaching this stuff. And so that's where the book came from. And it's pretty neat. You know, I take the principles and I just dial it in and use my business experience. So it's not a bunch of war stories.
Yeah.
You know, there's very little SEAL stories actually in it. It really is, how do you think and lead like a SEAL?
Do you think your competition is the enemy? I mean, is it that kind of mindset?
Yes, but in the context of an elite warrior, the enemy is not someone to fear, and it's not someone that you hate. It's someone you learn to understand,
and kill,
right?
And
kill if you have to.
Kill if you have to. I love that. What page is that on?
That's 37.
Kill if you have to. There's my motto.
So if you could define, Mark, if you could define what the Way of the Seal is there a sentence that says the Way of the Seal is fill in the blank?
Right. The Way of the SEAL is
the elevator statement.
The elevator statement is to learn how to orient your mind and your life so that you can execute at an elite level in all things you do. It's to think and lead like an elite Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Navy SEALs win all their missions for a very good reason. It's not just because they're a bunch of badass guys, who know how to shoot well. That helps for sure, right? That's the 8 weeks of SEAL Fit part. But it really is because they live by a strong sense of ethos. They know their boundaries. They know exactly how to act as a teammate. They know how to have each other's back. They know how to train together. They know how to train the team. They know how to train each other. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. And then they're very clear about their mission and why they're doing it. And when all those things line up, right, they kick ass and take names. So if you apply that to business.
Well, we're going to do that. When you come back, we're going to keep you over because we're going to talk about what that SEAL ethos is because Russ, at this point, it's great. Let's look at this. This is like the before picture.
Yeah.
It's never going to get any worse than this, is it? And conversely, this is
I'm ready.
You can be here.
I'm going to be fit like a SEAL. I'm right here. There it is. 8 weeks.
Big Biz Show.
My funeral.
It might be a little longer for you.
Yeah, there's an auxiliary guide that goes on that for you. Stand by. Got Mark Devine in here. Mark Devine, founder and CEO of SEAL Fit, author of The Way of the SEAL, Unbeatable Mind, 8 weeks to SEAL Fit, and number one trainee of his SEAL class, as well as retiring after 9 years on active duty, 11 years as a reserve SEAL, retiring as a commander, and founder of NavySeals.com. Russ, I see you're looking at the book, 8 Weeks to SEAL Fit.
Yeah.
And I noticed about lifting. Did you just say I could lift a cowbell?
I can lift a cowbell.
It's called a kettlebell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Apparently, that's a different item.
Yeah. Those are those kettlebell swings that she's doing there. That'll gas you in about.
You
You can vomit inside of 45 seconds if you do enough kettlebell swings.
It's a power snatch.
Yeah.
I mean that, but yeah, I don't think this is. You work up to this, I'm sure. Huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Run.
Mark, let's talk about in your book the way the SEAL people need to be front sight focused. What does that mean?
Right. In the SEAL teams, the concept comes from shooting or sniping, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a broad perspective on what's going on around you, and you're able to see the target. But when you take the shot, you're focusing on just the front sight of your weapon.
Oh, I see.
Nothing else. You're seeing that front sight, and the target goes kind of hazy, right? And so
I've had that happen.
have you seen that? Yeah. Anyone who's shooting knows exactly what I'm talking about. And this concept applied to goal setting is super powerful. So the idea is that we're very clear about what that long-term target is, right? But then we chunk it down in these little micro targets so we know exactly, I'm just focusing on that front sight. And when I take that shot, then I move on to the next next micro target, take that shot. And in the meantime, I just declutter. I take everything off my plate so I can focus radically. So the idea of multitasking is out. Right? SEALs don't multitask. They do one thing at a time, and they do it well. Even in a firefight, right? A lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, but you can only shoot one target at a time. And so SEALs get very good at identifying the biggest threat, the biggest opportunity, let's say, in their lexicon, to advance the mission, and they take that target out. And when you have 16 guys or 32 guys all doing that, then that platoon has the firepower, it appears, of like an entire Army regiment, because they're so focused and so precise. We don't like to waste rounds. So that applies to goal setting, selecting the right targets, and then being able to neck it down to the right actions, and then being able to tie those actions to your purpose and passion and why you're doing things, and then to stay in line with your ethos or with your stand. So you're making good decisions.
For the most part, shouldn't that be everyone in the military? You don't want some guy just wasting bullets.
For sure.
Hit somebody.
Yeah. But it's uncommon thinking. That's the point. It's uncommon to be able to have that level of insight into both yourself and to your ethos and to your actions, and to tie them all together. In that situation.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought, this is powerful for business, right? Well, when I started to clear on that, that's when things lined up.
Well, so let's talk about that, though. So let's say you have a business, a CEO, and he's got multiple plates spinning at the same time, and you talk about, not multitasking.
Right.
And I would say that's probably a benefit to be able to remain focused and not multitask, yet have all those plates spinning. How do you do that?
Well, in the SEALs, we had a process of target selection. Like, how do we identify what's the right target to go after? We have all these targets, all these opportunities.
Right. Yeah.
And I know this as a business guy. They're coming at me every day.
Yeah.
Right? And so I developed a process I call fits. Does the target fit? Is it going to fit you, your team, and your skill set? Right? Is it important? Is it the most important target for you right now? That's the I. Right? Is the timing right? Because it might be a great target, but it's not the right. I mean, how often have we launched a business or a product and just timing? Right. Timing is everything when it comes to a business or a product, right? Right. And then the S is it simple enough that I can really wrap my head around it and my team can understand it, so that we can just dominate this task? And simplicity, with Steve Jobs, simple is good, but it's not easy. Right. Yeah. So we have this process in the book where I say, does your target fit? So figure out what your targets are, then put them through this process. And what happens is the right one or two targets bubble up, and then you front sight focus on those.
It's hard to say goodbye to some good ideas, though.
Yeah, well, you got to make tough choices, but this clarifies the thinking.
Pager covers. I could have made $1 million.
On a pager cover?
Pager cover. Yeah, custom pagers.
Yeah, that was good. There was another one, too, you had. You had a couple.
The 8-track suitcase for your tapes.
8-track suitcase. That was a big one. That was good. Also, and you had the Gundromat, which is a laundromat and a gun cleaning.
Now it's a bar and a gun cleaning.
That's perfect. I love that idea. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, before I let you out of here today, the first of all, what are the guys? Can we show some of the websites? Because I think that's some of the funnest stuff.
There's an exercise called Man Maker. I'm going after just that one.
Yeah.
Just that one.
Yeah,
that one is pretty much a complete exercise.
God.
Yeah, you're doing like a push up, and then you're doing a
lift up,
row,
with
squat,
weights.
clean, thruster.
Not just my fat self doing it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
SEALFit.com, but there's lots of great video on there, and you can see what's
surfing. How fun!
No, they're not surfing, but they're at the beach. But they will. If you take a look at the website, it's pretty educational there, and also all the books are available there. Before one last thing, you talk about the SEAL ethos, and
God.
that's not just, but that's also a personal ethos.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
It's not just for SEALs, correct, Mark?
It's not just for SEALs, but the idea is that everyone should have their own ethos. It helps them know where they stand.
Sure.
If you're in a conversation, you get pushed left or right. If you're clear about your ethos, then you can stay true to your values. Basically, is what we're
Shake
saying.
everyone else on.
So the SEALs had a powerful ethos. For instance, serve with honor and integrity on and off the battlefield. There's a lot packed in that statement, right?
Sure, right.
Honor and integrity, they're two different concepts. And then make sure that it's on the battlefield while you're in action. But then when you go home, you're living by the same values. You're not, all of a sudden hanging your trident up and being a different person at home with your wife or your family or your friends, right?
Right.
That's a good one. Ready to lead, ready to follow, never quit. Think about that. Ready to lead. I'm always at the moment when my skills or I'm the right guy or I'm the only one left standing, I'm the leader, right? Even as an officer, I was ready to step back and let someone else be the leader, or I was ready to step in. So ready to lead, but also ready to follow. Yeah. And those are two sides of the same coin. You got to be a good follower. You got to have that humility to be able to say, I'm ready to follow you, even if I don't agree 100% with the direction you're taking me.
And that's where that applies to business.
Absolutely.
That's where it applies to the CEO. And that's in his book. By the way, Mark Devine, founder and CEO of SealFit, SealFit.com, our guest today. His books, several books, Unbeatable Mind, The Way of the SEAL, and then, of course, 8 Weeks to SealFit. Before we get done, let's talk about Russ. Will you commit? If I go there with you, can we just like a couple hours there? Could we just
hours? Yeah, sure. A couple hours. Yeah, take 15 minutes to lift something, and then an hour and 45 to recover.
I think we should shoot. Talk about Mark's journey.
I can do that.
How we got there.
That I can.
And
I can.
You got it.
Can.
And then we have you.
Is this optional? Which part?
And then we.
Look at it. And will you be yelling in my ear, Mark? That'll be so.
I'll be whispering in your ear.
Yeah.
Someone else will be yelling in it.
Yeah. Mark, I get the impression you don't have to do much yelling.
I don't have to do much yelling. No.
Yeah.
I've got a great staff of coaches, most of them SEAL BUDS instructors. And
can I wear my my Fit bracelet to see how?
Tell me steps you did.
Well, it'll beep right before my heart gives out.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. What is that one? Oh, that looks fun. Bicycle.
These by the way, when the videos that we see on
they cool you off. How
we are. It's kind of gentler training.
When they
wet T-shirt contest right there in the middle of it. You guys think of everything.
Go to SealFit.com. Check it. We're gonna have Mark back. We're gonna take you through a series.
Wow, this is great.
Take you through a series of the way of the SEAler. Mark, thanks so much for swinging by again.
Thank you very much.
And we are definitely gonna head down there more.
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna do it. Well, I think it's important to tell his story. Number one.
Yeah, that's
and then
one.
And then once we tell his story, we kind of like weave in us trying to do the stuff.
And you might be able to find a replacement for me after my death. 8 weeks to death by Rusty Nails.